Hey everyone, it's Muhammad from Product Feedback. With us in this video is the Thermaltake Dokker, and I'll be giving you a full run through of this more value for money budget sort of case, and I'll be seeing if it actually provides you with that bang for buck that Thermaltake is targeting it for. Now along the front you got a black mesh finish which looks quite good. I don't have a problem with the mesh design. The only problem is that the build-up of dust can get pretty bad, but apart from that the cooling advantage is definitely there. Also along the front you got the two USB ports as well as a headphone and microphone jack, and along the bottom is a little Thermaltake logo finished with a nice metallic silver. What usually determines how good a quality of a case it is how the responsiveness of the buttons are. So the power button has got a nice solid click to it, and the reset button also has a nice solid click to it as well. The left hand side of the case gives us a nice little small plastic window that allows us to see the included blue LED fan, a 120mm, as well as when installed a motherboard and CPU. On the bottom is again a honeycomb cutout shape which allows a 120mm optional fan to be plugged in and used. I usually recommend having side panel fans because it does improve the airflow on the video cards, which tend to run quite warm nowadays. The top of the chassis gives us actually facility to only include one optional 120mm fan, which I would say that those looking to maybe use this case for water cooling or small integrated systems, it might not be the best option out there. However, apart from that, what gives it the Dokker name is this thing here, which I'll show you what it actually does. The docking facility on top of the Dokker case is actually pretty good. What you do is you just slide in a hard drive, in this case a 2.5 inch, and you just pop it in like that. It's really solid, it sits in there nicely, and obviously if you want to have a bigger drive, this will just flip down and you connect that instead. On the back of the Dokker we have the 120mm ventilation port, room for the I/O shield, as well as 7 expansion slots. But as you notice there, it doesn't come with a PSU, so that's an additional cost that you will have to consider when purchasing this case. Straight off, I love to say that I love the black interior, and I recommend every case manufacturer to always paint the inside of a case black. It makes them look a lot more modern, and I can say that the Dokker definitely has a tick of approval for that area. In terms of room on the inside, it does support micro ATX and normal size motherboards. The room for the bottom fan is also included, which allows you to put an optional 120mm. A good thing to note is that they do offer a filter system on the PSU slot, so dust doesn't get inside your power supply. This case also supports toolless drive bays, and the mechanism actually feels quite solid even though it is made out of plastic, and they're not difficult to connect in or out, so this is another tick from me. The chassis in total does have 10 drive bays, but the only downside with them is that the fact that you can only have one 2.5 inch drive, which is a little bit of a downside, as many people these days would like to use dual SSDs in RAID, as they operate much faster and can give a lot more storage capacity. The back of the chassis is also painted black. There is enough room to facilitate for most CPU coolers. However, the downside is that anyone wishing to do reasonable cable management will be limited, as there is only about 1 centimeter gap between the motherboard tray and the back of the case. However, they give you a bit more flexibility on the left side, giving you about 4 centimeters to kind of push it behind all the hard drive bays. Overall, I found the quality of this case to be quite good. It's made out of a aluminium sort of material, and it doesn't feel cheap. And the connections to slide on the actual side panels are quite solid and firm, which I know a lot of cheaper cases tend to skip out on. So what are my final thoughts on this case? Well, the retail price is around 99 Australian dollars, or about 79 US dollars, and for that you get a well built, well designed chassis that's really designed in terms of looking for someone who doesn't want to build an extreme computer, but just something quite reasonable and offering a good airflow. There are a couple downsides to the case. Obviously, you have to account for a power supply, which is not included. The docking facility on the top of the case is questionable. I know that the speeds offered through that might be quicker, but I can't see any real practical use from the consumer side. However, I could see definitely IT professionals say that had 10 of these computers and wanted to transfer information quickly across to take advantage of that. Apart from that, the price point of the case is quite nice. You get a nice side panel showing what's inside the computer, as well as the fact that the inside is painted black. So it's definitely a contender in terms of good priced chassis, and something that you might want to consider. And if the docking facility isn't for you, I do know, and I have seen within the manual of this case, that there are two versions offered, one with and one without the docking facility. So my name is Muhammad. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe, as that helps me in the long run, and I can provide some more informative reviews just like this one. Hope you have a good day. See you guys. To be updated on the latest product feedback videos, make sure that you have subscribed.